Hey you gorgeous people, welcome. Yep. Today's video is one of the most requested videos. How do I grow my butt without growing my thighs? How do I lose weight without growing my thighs? How do I just not grow my thighs and just tone it? There's nothing wrong with that because everyone has their personal preference. When I first started growing my butt, which was like about 2 years ago, that was my main concern. Like I didn't want to have thunder thighs. That was the term that everyone used. And because I always have like fat thighs, so that was like my main concern. So I understand, guys, I totally understand. But after a while, I was more into growing my thighs and my butt at the same time because I wanted to grow more muscles, just more muscle mass in general. But now I am trimming it down. That was challenging but doable. My thighs are definitely more trimmed down, so I'm really happy about the progress. So I just changed my routine a little so that it's more glute focused and less quad focused because I am very quad dominant, not so much hamstring. I'm happy to grow my hamstring just a little bit still. So today I'm sharing all my secrets with you guys. All my secrets. I hope today's video is going to help you out. I really try my best to incorporate all the steps that I do to grow my butt. So don't forget to smash the thumbs up button down below, subscribe, turn on the notification, just all those things. I know there's a lot of things to do these days, but I'll appreciate that, and let's jump straight into it. The first thing I do these days is to start with some glute activation exercises, and the first exercise is frog kick. This is one of the best exercises to activate your glute muscles. I'm just gonna say this one time, everyone needs to be doing this. This is the key. This is gonna make a huge change to your butt. If you want a bigger butt, you need to activate your glutes before doing your main exercises. Now, to do this, bend your knees with the sole of your feet touching, keep your core tight and lift your legs up. Squeeze your butt real hard at the top and repeat. And remember to really squeeze your butt. There's no point doing this if you're not squeezing your butt, you're not really activating your glutes. And do this about 15 to 20 reps. Next, I'm going to do some kickbacks. I like to keep my legs straight so I can focus on my glutes. You can have it bent if you wish to, but personally for me, I find it easier to focus on my glutes when my legs are straight. Again, do this about 15 to 20 reps. The last warm-up glute activation exercise is bender walk. Keep a slight bend on your knee. So I prefer a slight bend instead of going down too low into a squat because then you'll be activating your quads more. So if you want a slimmer thighs and bigger butt, just keep a slight bend on your knee and not going down too low into a squat. Now start walking forward and backward and you'll feel the burn on your butt. Now the first main exercise is hip thrust. You can start with a dumbbell first or a plate. Just make sure you start with light weight first just to get the movement down. You need to get your form right before using heavy weights, using barbells or using the Smith machine. So to have maximum activation, I like to keep my bench around the same height as the lower part of my legs. If I'm too lazy to set up, then I'll just use the bench, but because I'm quite short, the bench is a little bit too high for me. So adjust it based on how you feel best. Have your feet about shoulder width apart and use your glute to push the weight up. So in terms of the legs, make sure it's about 90 degrees. If it's too far away from your body, then you're gonna feel a lot in your hamstring. And if it's too near, then you're gonna feel too much on your quads. Just make sure it's around 90 degrees and that's gonna give you the maximum glute activation. Make sure you're not using your arms to lift the weight up. It's just there for support. This is really great for upper glutes, creating that really nice shelf. Your butt shelf is going to look so amazing that you can put a glass on it and it won't fall. It will just stay there because your shelf is popping. I like to do this for about 10 to 12 reps with moderate weights, not too heavy or not too light. The next exercise I like to do is rack pull. This is the key, guys. I've never shared this before, but this is so good for your booty. This is very similar to deadlifts, except we are starting from the knee level, not from the floor. Have your feet shoulder width apart, neutral chin and spine, tense your core and push your hips back with a slight bend on your knee and squeeze your butt at the top. Make sure you don't roll your shoulder back or extend your hips forward, not too much, because that's gonna cause injuries. Also, I just want to say you can start this exercise from the knee level or a bit lower depending on how much you want to activate your hamstrings. I find that at knee level, I don't use my hamstring as much, but personally, I do want to grow my hamstrings just a little because I don't have much hamstring definition. So yeah, I've done this on the Smith machine today, but I prefer to do this on a squat rack. Again, do this about 10 to 12 reps with moderate weights. The next exercise is knee squat. This is really easy to set up, but you need to make sure your mat is thick enough. Just layer it. Please don't injure your knee because this is gonna hurt your knee if you don't have enough padding. Again, you can do this using a barbell or on a Smith machine. What I'm using here is a Smith machine. Push your hips back as you lower down the bar. Remember to tense your core, neutral spine, and come down as low as you can. Then use your glutes to lift the weight up. This is also easier to do without shoes, so you can take off your shoes while you're doing this. This really activate my glutes. You have to try it if you haven't tried this exercise before, but make sure you take care of your knees by using sufficient padding. Again, I do this for about 10 to 12 reps with moderate weights. The next exercise is pull through. This is great for building that glutes. I love this so much. I used to do this so much, but I stopped doing it for a while, but it's back on my routine. You can go pretty heavy with this, but try it with light weights first just to engage your glutes, because if you're not used to the movement and you go heavy weights, you're not gonna engage your glutes. So always try with very lightweight first. There's a couple of ways you can do it. You can start with a squat, then pull the rope forward using your glutes. You can push your hips back a little, like how you do a deadlift with a slight bend on your knee. Then pull the rope forward using your glutes. Make sure you're using hips to do this movement, not your arms. Also, keep your core engaged. I normally do this for about 12 to 15 reps with light to moderate weights. Now, the last main exercise is cable kickback. I love this for my upper glutes and pretty much for my whole entire glutes, because you can definitely feel the burn on this one. I like to keep my legs straight these days because I can just feel it a lot better on my upper glutes, and I am really focused on growing my upper glutes. But feel free to do it with a slight bend on your knee. Make sure you keep your back neutral and kick the weights back. This always burns my glutes, and it's great if you have any muscle imbalances on your glutes, since this is an unilateral exercise. So those are all the main exercises I like to do, and after that I always do some stretching just to stretch out my muscles, and that's pretty much my glute routine these days. Now I'm just gonna share a couple of tips on how you can grow your glutes. But before I get into the tips, I just want to say, if you want massive butt like Nicki Minaj, Kim K, and all of that, this is not gonna give you that. That is just, you know. And also, if you want to achieve that size, you are gonna grow your thighs, because your thighs are not gonna be able to support those weights to grow your butt. So that's just something I want to clarify before I get into the tips. Tip number one to grow your butt is to eat enough. If you don't eat enough, you're not gonna grow your butt. You're gonna tone it, but you're not gonna grow the size. But if you eat lots of junk food just to grow your butt, then you're gonna get fat. So have balance of carbs, protein, and fat. Don't be too obsessed over the macros. I reckon those are not very important. Just have a balanced meal. You'll be fine. You're gonna go nice sport. The second tip is progressive overload. In simple terms, you're just making your workout a little bit more difficult week after week. So for example, if you are lifting 10 kilos today, then you can lift 12 kilos next week, or you can do more reps next week, like 1 or 2 more reps next week. So that's the way you grow your butt. You just have to make sure it gets more difficult over time, because your muscle is not gonna grow if there is nothing that's pushing it to grow. So you can either lift heavier or do more reps, more volume, or you can do it slow and controlled and just feel it on your butt and just focus on muscle-mind connection. And that's the third tip. Muscle-mind connection is so important. If you're doing a hip thrust or squat or whatever, but you're not focusing, like you're just doing the movement without thinking, you gotta focus on the muscle group that you want to grow when you're doing the exercise. So in this case, it's your booty. And those are the 3 main tips, and these tips are gonna get you to places. You're gonna have a really nice, round, toned booty. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please don't forget to smash the thumbs up button down below, subscribe, notification, membership. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!